Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the What the Fuck America podcast. I am Jake along with Matt, and we today are just going to sandbox it up, talk a little bit about a couple of things and see where things take us. And we'll probably keep it short today since we had a 3-hour episode of absolute insanity the last time you heard from us. So, Matt, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I had to catch my breath.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks. When were we on last? Was it 2 weeks ago, or was it for the
2 weeks ago? Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It was a pretty long episode.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
We missed everybody on the 4th. We didn't really do shit for the 4th of July, right? I mean,
yeah, we didn't do anything for the 4th. And then we were thinking about doing an episode on the 4th, but then we didn't. And now
it
we're
gets
here.
a little hectic with our schedules. It's not like we do any extra stuff, but me and Jake work pretty fucking hard throughout the week.
Yeah.
So once in a while we need to just not
decompress.
Do shit. Yeah. So,
yes.
But yeah, so what have you been, you got anything fun and enraging to tell me?
Yeah. So
I think we're on different news cycles, I think, right now.
We could be. So one of the more rage-inducing things I saw today was Joe Biden wants to censor people's texts between each other. So, if I were to text you and say, coronavirus can now make your penis 10 inches bigger, Joe Biden would like that text between you and I to be censored for coronavirus misinformation. So, that's a pretty cool thing.
I mean, it's kind of stupid, because doesn't that, because now we're not even allowed to share our experiences with each other.
Or our opinions. Which, through private text messages. We're not allowed to have terrible opinions.
Well, nothing's private, remember? Because after September 11th and all that shit, they're like, screw your privacy. We don't care about that.
Yep, you get to get spied on because we're the government and we know what's best.
Yeah. We know everything before it happens, yet we let it happen, and then we make you suffer for it, right?
Yep.
Just like it's like what do you call it? Like COVID, for instance, right? It's like COVID happens. They're telling us. I remember this in November, right? There was a dude. He kept coming into work being like, "Oh man, I hope I don't get this sickness. I hope I don't get this sickness." That motherfucker, within a week of them announcing that there was a new, and it was right after the New Year because it was November.
Yep.
Remember, me and you kept saying, "Man, I think I'm fucking dying," right? And I went and got that stupid fucking flu shot, and I got sick as shit from it. And they were and I kept saying, I think they've been talking about that shit in the news, and then boom. They knew that shit was going to happen. Just like Dr. Fauci, fake fraud Fauci knows everything about nothing. That fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's something special, that's for damn sure.
And he's still on TV. All these people are catching, like all of these people, right, that are on the mainstream media or whatever, even the independent media, the idiots like me and you, we've all been calling this motherfucker out, telling everybody he's retarded, he is stupid, he is a liar, he is this, he is that. However, they still put his ass on TV.
It's incredible.
To tell you about different variants of this sickness that he is like, come on, dude. Really?
Yep.
This is what we've become. They actually think we're sheeple.
Well, we are. It's crazy because I don't know what the death rates are of this fucking sickness anymore because it just doesn't matter to me. But we went from like, all right, hold on. We as a citizenry went from 14 days to slow the spread, which I think everyone, even the most staunch hatred of government people among us, the people that distrust the government the most, I think even they were probably on board with 15 days or 14 days to slow the spread. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure even the fucking tinfoil hat people that never trust the government about anything were probably like, okay, we're seeing this thing come out of China. They probably biologically weaponed us right now. It's probably not a bad idea to slow the spread for 15 days. And everyone was okay with that. But then 15 days turned into a month, turned into 3 months, turned into now you have to wear masks. And now people get shot over not wearing masks or get shot for confronting people.
George Floyd gets killed. Then it turns into a fucking psychopath fucking rant and raging against everybody, not even just the fucking system. You're fucking raging against your neighbors.
Yep.
Like a fucking idiot.
And the very final steps of this, now Joe Biden wants to send COVID witnesses or Jacovid witnesses to your fucking doors to be like, hey, have you gotten this vaccine? If not, here's information about this vaccine and why you should get it. What the fuck?
Maybe that's their new religion.
It has turned into a religion. It's the Styx Hexenhammer. He calls them masker baiters because they just it's performative now. It's if you wear a mask, you're one of the ones that care about people, and you're one of the ones that is trying to protect others. And if you got your 15 vaccines, you're one of the ones that cares about humanity. Well, how can you simultaneously say that while saying you have to get vaccinated and you have to wear a mask and you have to do X, Y, and Z, even though I don't think it's necessary, even though I don't think, according to the CDC, even though I'm a very obese, borderline dying of a heart attack tomorrow fat fuck, I'm still not worried about this. And I think I heard news out of... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, not to mention that until you talk to a doctor and get like a physical, you don't even know if this thing is for you.
Correct.
You could have a fucking bad effect. You don't know. You could eat a fucking piece of pizza and have a fucking allergic reaction to something. Is that me telling medical advice? I mean, maybe, but I'm just letting you know, like, hey, neighbor, hey, fellow human being, you might fucking get sick from this. Maybe check with an actual doctor that knows things and don't listen to fucking Hollywood Fauci. Fuck that moron.
Yep.
He's fucking Fago, boy. He's a fucking Fugazi. He's stupid as fuck. I'm so tired of them putting these motherfuckers on my television. I hate it so much. I'm sorry. I wasn't even going to talk tonight. I wasn't even going to say shit tonight.
Well, we're not getting in. I'm going to try and avoid going because this is still going. This is going on YouTube. This will be the very first. I suppose we didn't introduce ourselves to the YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, no, we're just gonna fuck these people.
Oh, I was agreeing with you that no, we did not introduce ourselves to YouTube, but you did intro the show, Jake. I
introed the show, just not to YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Jake, along with Matt. We are What the Fuck America. We hate the government. Oh, I severely hate the government. I won't speak on behalf of Matt. I severely hate the government to the point I think most of the people in federal government are treasonous to the United States Constitution. we'll just leave it at that for now. I do not wish violence. I think violence is very rarely the answer. Um, but we'll just leave it at that. And Matt, we'll let him explain his leanings on government.
Uh, I don't want to use the word hate, okay? Because that's what got us into this fucking situation to begin with, right? So I have a strong disgust for the fucking federal government. I
That's
find it
good.
useless. Okay. I find it useless, right? Because instead of doing, like, to me, the federal government, right, should really
Yep.
just be concentrating on things of, protecting our borders, maybe being good diplomats to the rest of the fucking earth so that, like,
Yep.
nobody else wants to fucking blow us up or
Nuke
murder us
us.
because we're insane and we like
Yep.
to encroach our beliefs on everybody. And not to mention, you have all this cultural talk and shit now, right? Racism and all this stuff happening. Fuck the federal government. What the fuck is their deal? Why are they fucking making this all happen?
Yep.
Why are
So
they're literally making it happen.
they talk
Instead
about
of trying to
systematic
put out little
racism.
fires, instead of trying to put out little fucking fires here and there, they want to sit there and say, you know what the problem is?
White people.
Police shoot black people in America because white people are privileged.
And the
And
black
because
people in
white,
Chicago that shoot
yeah,
each other is because of
yeah,
white privilege.
which we'll get into Chicago in a second because I have something for you. But what I
All
mean
right.
is, and because white people are so privileged, right? That means that they're all racist.
Yep.
Okay. They're all racist. They make all of this stuff happen to black people.
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's the only races in America, white and black.
That's
There's no
that's
one
it.
else. Nobody
Nope.
else.
Nope. Even though every friggin' politician talks about melting pots and how this is so great. New York City's got every culture in the world. San Francisco, blah blah blah. All these fucking cities that are going to fucking hell, right?
Yep.
Then they say, "Oh, because white people are so racist, we're gonna go door to door and we want to take your fucking guns."
Yep.
Your law-abiding citizens who went legally to buy these guns, to purchase them, right? Put money into the economy, right? By
Yep.
purchasing goods, because that's how it works, right? Isn't that how capitalism works? Or a version of
Supposed to work.
capitalism,
Yep.
So, they went and they used their hard-earned money. I'm sorry. I know I'm going on a fucking rant and stealing the freaking shit right now, but I'm a little annoyed because, like I said before, I wasn't good at talk. However, they want to go door to door now and take law-abiding citizens' guns from them. But what about all the criminals that obtain weapons
Yeah.
through
So let me
unsavory means?
so stop and frisk in New York was deemed unconstitutional because you cannot racially profile someone. So you cannot stop someone who has the potential of having a gun illegally, stopping them, taking that illegal gun off the street. You can't do that. But what you can do, what they want to do, is they want to make a gun registry for all the people that have legally bought guns and they want to take their guns. Explain that to me.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't, do the whole firearm thing,
Yeah.
because someone wants to shoot me that bad. I mean, take your best shot, buddy. Here we are. People will want to punch me in the mouth for a long time. But anyway, when you buy a gun, doesn't it somehow have like your fucking name attached to it anyway, and an address
Yes.
or something? Right.
Yes.
So
So
I didn't know. Is there
when
a
I went,
is there a criminal registry for weapons as well? Like, a
uh,
guy goes and he buys a gun in an alley. Does the said person who sells him that gun or that firearm, let's say, right? Because it could
yep.
be a slingshot with bullets, right? I don't know, but do they take their name and like copy of their ID and stuff so that they,
And their
them
social
too, they're not
security number,
right. Like, I don't
their
get it.
bank
I don't get
accounts.
it.
Yep.
I don't get
Yep.
it.
No, there, contrary to popular belief, there is no gun registry for people who get guns illegally.
Oh,
But that's
see,
what doesn't make sense. All right, I've never heard anyone make that comparison until I just made that comparison of stop and frisk in New York, which took thousands of illegal guns off the streets, cleaned up the city of New York, and like Rudy Giuliani cleaned up the streets in New York, man.
yeah, he was America's mayor.
Yeah, and now he's fucking getting his law license revoked because he dared to help Donald Trump and talk and shit. But anyway, yeah, it makes no sense. You can't legally stop someone and ask them, "Hey, do you have a gun on you? I think you might have a gun on you. Let me see." And then they stop and they frisk them. That's illegal. But when the Constitution says shall not be infringed, the government still decides to impose common sense gun laws and say, hey, you have to go to a licensed firearm dealer. You have to buy from a said licensed firearm dealer, and then you will get your gun after a background check. They want those people who pass the background check, who pass the common sense gun laws, the actual common sense gun laws, they want those people to not have guns. But the people in Chicago, and feel free to call me a racist, but the black people in Chicago, because of which 70% of the deaths and the homicides in Chicago are black people, you don't want to stop and frisk them because racism, because you're a racist. Can you be a racist if statistically out of 7 out of 10 black people you stop on the street, they'll have a gun in Chicago? Is that racist, or is that just a statistic? Now, granted, I tend to agree you shouldn't really racially profile, but is that even racially profiling if 70% of the people shot and killed in Chicago are blacks? I mean, we're getting to a point where we have to be honest about things. We have to be honest about things. And if we can't talk honestly and openly and freely in a society, as we're seeing now, we won't have a society. So yeah, that's how we
it's
feel
worked
about
in the
government.
past. Yeah, yeah, they're annoying.
Killing I mean, wait, no, not that.
No, they're fucking annoying,
So,
right? You think about it. Why is it that we need a bunch of idiots in Washington to tell me what to do, right? What do you
yep,
right, we have local officials that we elect, right, for our state,
yep,
right? And so then there's them, and then you have them in Washington, right? So you have all these
yep.
all this representation, but they don't represent every single person. They represent the fucking
Correct.
money. you know?
Yep.
So
So
but anyway,
I've been doing a lot of. Oh yeah, Chicago. How many people have died?
So far, this is week in progress, 7-11 to 7-17. So far, shot and killed 6. Shot and wounded 20.
Nice.
Total shot
Nice.
26. Total homicides
Nice.
6. Do you want to know how many are year to date so far?
Sure. So 7 months and 13 days.
Yeah. Total people shot 2195. That's 2,195 people. So
in just Chicago.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all I wrote. Yeah, it says it right here. Chicago crime 2021. Yeah, it's a whole map. It shows you the whole goddamn thing, all the little boroughs and everything. That's crazy.
In just Chicago alone,
yeah,
2,200 basically.
They're not going to have a
2,200
lot of
people.
people to vote next year if they fucking
Yeah,
keep fucking this shit up. Jesus.
it's just insane. Like,
But like you look at the map, and this is just a picture off of here that it's on heyjackass.com. But it gives you each neighborhood and how many homicides are in it. This is year to date, right? This is like just as of 7/12/21. So today, right? Or was that yesterday? Yesterday. So I mean, you're talking the least amount in one neighborhood was fucking 8 people that were killed, 40
Jesus.
wounded. The most that were wounded was 179 with a fucking 31 homicides. That's insane.
That's a war zone. That is a fucking. How big is Chicago? Like, is Chicago the size of Iraq, or is it smaller? I would assume smaller, much smaller.
Yeah. Iraq's like a whole fucking country, bro. Like,
But I'm just trying to say, like, if you were to compare Iraq's death numbers to just Chicago, I wonder what the difference would be. Like, I truly wonder what and that includes U.S. troops killing people, Muslim extremists killing people, drone strikes killing people. Like, I could almost, I wouldn't be shocked if Chicago was just a little bit less than the whole of Iraq. Or even like peak wartime. I wonder what peak wartime Iraq death totals were.
I mean,
That's just insane to me.
it's crazy. So here's a so Milwaukee, for instance, is
Yep.
96.80 square miles. Okay.
Okay.
Chicago area, it says, is 234.02 square miles. Now,
Okay.
um, here we go. This is the one that you want. Iraq
Is 70,000 square miles.
Oh no, buddy. It's 169,235 square miles.
What kind of a
Okay.
dumbass is Iran the small one? Iran is the small one, right?
I
Because
mean,
I
maybe.
can't remember which one is. I know there's a small fucking province there somewhere.
Iran is 636,372 square miles. So
So clearly, I'm just a
it's much
moron.
bigger. It's much bigger.
So clearly, I'm just a moron, and everything I've said, you should just completely ignore. And everything I
So
say from now on, you should just completely ignore.
okay. Here, I got even better number for you.
All right. I'm excited for this.
You said peak war.
Yeah, peak wartime in Iraq, or whatever country happened to be the most. Because I don't know if you can. Well, I guess past years in Chicago, because crime has been overall descending, but I think the past 2 years it's kind of been on an uptick because the United States is going into full blown civil war mode.
Okay, so we'll do a study that was done as of June 2011, right? Because you figure
Okay,
that was pretty, you know,
pretty decent
from
wartime.
we'll say from June 2006 was 151,000 violent deaths, and then to June 2011 was 461,000 violent deaths, right?
Okay,
Now, that's what's hilarious about this, because Chicago isn't that high right now, but we have all these things here. on this website
Well,
if
so
you
that
go to
was like a
heyjackass.com.
so that
I'm
was
telling you. What?
That was like a how long of a span for all those deaths in Iraq?
Like 5 years?
So it was 400,000 for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just pretend and divide that up equally. So 5 years is 60 months, I assume, unless I'm an idiot.
I don't do math.
So we'll take 400,000,
You heard it,
divide that by
YouTube. I don't
60.
do math.
So that's about 6,666.666666666 repeating deaths every month for those 5 years.
Right.
So there are about half as many people shot. No, 1/3 as many people shot in Chicago than during peak wartime in an actual war zone. What the fuck? Now, granted, it wasn't
Well,
like half the number, but that's still crazy
yeah,
to me.
well, in just one,
That's still crazy to me.
I mean, yeah, I have an article from Time Magazine that, like, in 2016 was like one of their deadliest years, and there was 762 people that were killed, right? And that was a 58%
Jesus.
increase from the year before. Okay. So then it goes up for your shootings and shooting victims. It goes up 47%. So of that 58%, 47% of that 58% was fucking killings by guns. And this is what we were saying before,
Jesus.
right? This is where it goes back to, you want to take law-abiding citizens' right to protect themselves, and then what?
Yeah.
Then what? Yeah.
Because
Then you
so
lose more.
the left.
Then you lose more taxpayers, and then you want to suck
Yep.
the other taxpayers that are still alive, that are licking your balls
You're gonna
because
suck
they're
them
afraid of
dry.
you. Yeah, and I mean, come on. You want to talk about how slavery's so bad? Look at what the fuck is going on. You
Yep.
fucking assholes, right?
Where
Let's just
you
call it
just
what it is. I'm not
yeah
trying to be an asshole or freaking disparage anybody, but let's call it what it is, right?
yep.
Because what the fuck does $1 trillion look like to a fucking human being? What the fuck does that even look like? That looks like a lot of
Like
fucking years of breaking my fucking back. That doesn't look,
you and
you know what
I,
I mean?
what
We
you and
will
I
never
will
stop
never.
working.
We would work for the next 100,000 years before we saw $1 trillion us combined.
Yeah.
Like it
Like,
will
what
never
the
happen.
fuck?
It'll never
Right.
happen.
Right.
But one thing too, the left always says, and don't worry, I'm gonna yell at Ted Cruz as well, and the
Oh,
right
yeah.
in general.
All these
But
politicians, we're not going to just
all of them,
disparage the freaking
all of them,
Democrats. It's all these politicians that think they got all this
all of
power.
them.
They're making the fucking, it's like a bunch of teenagers in high school, man. I swear to God,
Yep.
I've never seen so many clicks happening. I'm waiting for the freaking Jets and the fucking T-Birds and
Sharks.
the pink fucking idiots and the Sharks to fuck each other up. Oh, I'm so annoyed. It's so annoying.
So the Democrats always say we can't ban abortions because then they'll just go get one in a back alley. What do you think is going to happen with guns? You can't ban guns because then they'll just go buy one in a back alley.
Yeah. And now we're all dependent on technology, right? And all these people, you got
Yep.
all this technology out there. People are going to start making guns. You think fucking
Oh,
fucking buying
I
guns
am
is a big deal? Wait till people start fucking making these things. Like, you go down the street and almost every neighbor of yours has a fucking milling machine and a bunch of fucking
and a
know-how.
ghost gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what are these people thinking? Now you're just making people want to hide this shit from you, and because that's what happens, right? What happens? People start acting crazy. Look what happened when George Floyd died. People fucking went nuts.
And not to mention, let's just do a quick little cursory glance
I keep swearing. I
at
keep cussing.
that's all right. I am 100% okay with this.
You'll have to put a
Um
TVMA thing.
yeah,
Oh,
let's
wait till we
see.
get into that shit. You want to
Into
talk
what
about
shit?
censoring? Well, you think about this, right? So they're doing all this, right? Like how I started off where we were talking about how everybody's racist. They want to take your money. Now they want to take your guns. And now all white people are bad because, they should feel bad for being born white and all this bullshit. And, you know, now you're making children feel bad because they're born either this way or that way. Now you don't even want kids to be able to tell themselves that they're a boy or a girl. You don't want these kids now it's like all of this shit, man. Like, why is this all happening right now? You give,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And the government's not
It's
helping
that
anything.
it's cultural
All they're
revolution, baby.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. People want to talk
So
about the
just
freaking 60s. This is insane.
yeah, really quick. A brief history of repressive regimes and their gun laws. The Soviets and its satellite states, they all took guns. Nazi Germany, they took guns. Cuba, who's going through a brief little, I don't know, do we frame it in the left's way of thinking, calling them
They're just fucking protests.
anti-government extremists? No, anti-government extremists, or do we frame it in the right's thinking and say they're just freedom fighters? I mean, it's
Remember,
Venezuela took guns.
just remember, Castro was a freedom fighter as well.
Yeah,
A freedom
and
fighter for fucking communism.
yeah, yep. Um,
Same thing with
so
Mao, right? Right?
yep.
Same thing with Mao. Down with Imperials. Let's fucking do this shit, right?
What was I got?
Communism.
I should find that. I should find that article again about the.
There's
Well, what
no
was it?
good ism except capitalism. That was the best
And
thing I heard today.
and even then, we've never lived under capitalism. You and I. We have never
Not
lived under
not real
capitalism.
capitalism.
Yep. We've lived under the corruption of capitalism, where corporations can butt fuck whoever they want, provided they still give money to the government. I mean, for fuck's sake. Okay. All right. Can you Google this for me? Nestle
Oh boy.
slavery lawsuit. So I want to say it was Nestle, but I can't guarantee that. So this unknown company
Did you say
apparently,
slavery?
yep, slavery lawsuit.
Oh boy.
This unknown company, is it Nestle?
Yep.
Fucking my mind is a steel trap.
U.S. I'm just going to read you the first thing. U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday reversed a ruling that allowed several individuals to sue food corporations Nestle and Cargill over child slavery claims, limiting corporate liability under the Allen Tort Statute. That was June 20th, 2021, this article from the jurist.org.
So we in America, the left, all right, the left in America always holds slavery over the people that actually love this country's heads. The people that love this country, the left always says, yeah, but we had slavery in this country. Nestle currently has child slave labor going on. And you know what was decided in that case? It's not happening in America, so it doesn't matter. Same thing happening in China with our fucking phones. Good old Foxconn. Fucking suicide nets on Foxconn buildings. so the people don't jump to their fucking deaths. That's capitalism for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's what capitalism buys you. This fucking capitalist society we live in, where these latte left fucks sit in their Starbucks on their iPhones, complaining about capitalism, saying how they wish they were in Cuba, and how Cuba has such a high literacy rate, and how Cuba's hospitals are the best.
I don't know, man. I've met a couple of Cubans throughout my life, and they don't tell me that story.
I would imagine. That's why
That
they
wasn't
make
the story I
fucking
was told.
boats. They make fucking boats out of garbage and sail the ocean blue just to fucking make it to Florida.
Could you imagine being fucking lost at sea on a goddamn raft in the middle of the ocean? You run out of water. You can't drink the ocean.
Because you'll die.
You'll just die. You
Yeah.
will die. You will die.
And they flee that country and do that
In such
like,
huge numbers.
I think there was 500 or so last year that did that.
I don't know, but dude, look at the 80s. You ever seen Scarface? Jesus.
Yeah.
That shit was insane.
Yep. So it's, people want to sit there and say, oh, America's the worst, slavery, blah, 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 blah. If you hate slavery so much, mister, and I will rail on the left more because I have more actual conservative leanings, not this fake bullshit conservative that we see, like the Jeffersonian conservatism, where the states in the United States are seen as countries. So Illinois and Germany and New York and Germany, and they're all the same thing. We are independent states. We are not this union. We are the United States of America. We are not this giant federal union that everyone seems to think we are. And that all started under Lincoln. Fucking Lincolnian nationalism, if you want to look that up. I'm not an expert. I can't explain it to you all. And they always say if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't understand it. So I'm not going to try and explain the whole thing because I also am still learning. So I might be wrong, but I'm not lying to you.
Yeah.
Which is a great phrase I've heard. But so, enough about the random things. I want to talk about parchment barriers here really quick. And this is one of the things I've been kind of learning and getting into the general founding fathers, their reasons behind things, their opposition to certain things, their support of certain things, the reasons behind why they supported or didn't support those things. Also, the whole Civil War, which was not just about slavery. It was about a multifactorial reasons that caused a civil war. So, James Madison on parchment barriers and the defense of liberty. And I shall read this light little excerpt.
Oh, boy.
This, you remember on Saturday? Fucking parchment barriers!
Yeah.
I just could not stop yelling.
You go ahead and read. I'm looking up how many people fled Castro's rule.
Oh, it had to be a lot. So, in a letter to Thomas Jefferson in October 1788, James Madison expressed lukewarm support for the idea of a Bill of Rights, since, quote, repeated violations of these parchment barriers have been committed by overbearing majorities in every state, end quote. He continues to believe the main threat to liberty comes from the legislative, not the executive branch of government. And then it goes on to read, experience proves the inefficiency of a Bill of Rights on those occasions when its control is most needed. Repeated violations of these parchment barriers have been commonly or committed by overbearing majorities in every state. In Virginia, I have seen the Bill of Rights violated in every instance where it has been opposed to a popular current. Notwithstanding the explicit provisions contained in that instrument for the right of conscience, it is well known that a religious establishment would have taken place in the state if the legislative majority had found, as they expected, a majority of the people in favor of the measure, and I am persuaded that if a majority of the people were now of one sect, the measure would still take place, and on narrower grounds than was then proposed, notwithstanding the additional obstacle which the law has since created. Wherever the real power in government lies, there is a danger of oppression. In our governments, the real power lies in the majority of the community, and the invasion of private rights is chiefly to be apprehended not from acts of government contrary to the sense of its constituents, but from acts in which the government is the mere instrument of the major number of the constituents. In this second quote about parchment barriers to protect the people's liberties, Madison expressed his lukewarm support on the grounds that the Bill of Rights would be unnecessary, the rights are reserved by the people, and that they would be ineffective. Government historically has repeatedly violated them. He continues to believe that the real threat to liberty will come from the majority of community, or now terms tyranny of the majority, and not from acts of governments. He concludes his letter to Jefferson with the confident observation that he, quote, sees no tendency in our government or in our governments to danger on the side because of the ebb and flow which historically operates to balance the forces of liberty and power. Sometimes there are abuses of liberty which call forth an increase in government power, and when this goes too far and there is an undue degree of power, the balance then tips back towards liberty. He rejects the idea that there is a tendency in all governments to an augmentation of power at the expense of liberty. Thomas Jefferson replied to Madison's criticisms in a letter of March 15th, 1789, which he wrote from Paris. His first response was to say, although parchment barriers, like a Declaration of Rights, were always incomplete, half a loaf is better than no bread. If we cannot secure all our rights, let us secure what we can. Concerning the relative threat to liberty of the legislative and the legislative branches, Jefferson agreed that the legislative branch was the present threat, but that the threat at some future date would come the executive. The executive in our governments is not the sole, it is scarcely the principal object of my jealousy. The tyranny of the legislature is the more formidable dread at present, and will be for long years. That of the executive will come in turn, but it will be a remote period. So Jefferson is saying he fears that the executive branch would become, and sorry for my reading, people, I am functionally retarded. I failed English and subsequently high school, so reading is not my strong suit, but over time we will get better. But Jefferson feared that eventually the biggest abuses of power would come from the executive branch, i.e. the president. And then I think we just lost Matt, ladies and gentlemen.
You disappeared.
But so Jefferson feared that the executive branch would be the coming threat to government, uh, the coming threat to freedom and liberty in the country, which when you have a legislative branch, which was what Madison feared, was the biggest threat to liberty. We have the issue now where the legislative branch abdicates a decent amount of its duties to the executive branch. That's why we have this giant sword of Damocles of executive orders. All these presidents come in, they sign their executive orders. And what people don't realize, your person will not always be in power. When Donald Trump got into office, I would have loved for him to just say, President has no more executive orders. There cannot be any executive orders signed into law. But instead, he decided to use those powers. And Joe Biden came in because there's always that tit for tat. Joe Biden signed what seemed like 50 executive orders within a week. So the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and all of this stuff are just parchment barriers. They are words written on paper that cannot enforce themselves. We, the citizen, must enforce them. Now, there are ways to do that, which I think in the past would have been adequate. You vote out the bad people, you get in the good people, and you hold them to account. The unfortunate thing now, they have amassed so much power, so much arrogance, and my favorite word to call everyone in sitting office right now is petty tyrants. They are just petty tyrants. They do it because they can, without thought of if they should. So,
Not
and we'll get deeper into alcoholics. And fucking coke heads. Like, yeah. So that's
I wonder what would have happened. I wonder what would have happened if Barack Obama's daughter was snorting cocaine with the mayor of fucking DC, or smoking fucking crack rock with people and doing shit like that. I wonder what would have happened if fucking Donald Trump Jr. fucking was blowing fucking lines of coke with fucking 10-year-old hookers, you know, and fucking using his dad's fucking office and name to fucking make money. Like, come on, bro.
Like Trump Jr. He had an alcohol problem, and they fucking crucified him in the media for that, even though he was recovering from said alcohol problems.
But okay, Hunter Biden has some demons, right?
Yes. He fucking smoked way too much Parmesan fucking cheese, and it fucked with his brain cells. Wow. But one thing that is you brought up making money off of his dad. Hunter Biden is currently doing an art show, and he's making all of his art paintings, and they're selling for a shit ton of money. The White House has decided we're not going to show the names of the people that are buying those paintings. And in order to show more, what is the word? What's the word? To be more transparent. In order to be more transparent, the White House is not going to disclose the name of the people buying Hunter Biden's $70,000 paintings. Wrap that one around your head. Make sense of that one. That's like, in order to be less racist, I'm going to start hanging black people in trees. That doesn't make any sense.
This is stupid as fuck. No, it doesn't.
Like, I just don't understand.
So fucked up.
Yep. So, What were you
I
looking up while
just
I
can't
was?
believe. Oh, I couldn't find the number I was looking for, any like real numbers, but because it just tells you what the Cuban population is. But from like the late 50s to the 70s, it was a huge boom because all these people wanted out of Cuba. They hated communism. They did not want Castro's world, you know? And by
Yeah.
2011, or no, I think it was like from like 58 to 70, I think there ended up being like some 200,000 Cubans in the country. And that's like, I mean, come on.
That's a
That's a
lot.
lot of motherfucking people, you
Yep.
know? And people say, "Oh, America's so racist." Well, they paid for they gave free English lessons, right? Because what do you need when you go to a country that does not speak your language? You need to learn how to speak the language, right?
Yep.
Sorry if that sounds racist, but you try going to another country like fucking the Ukraine or going somewhere in Africa where you need to speak a second language and you don't.
Yep.
Like, you go ahead, make your sign, and go fucking stand in front of that communist fucking party's goddamn headquarters, and you fucking
Yep.
protest. They hurt your feelings because you can't fucking speak the language, you can't understand anybody, and you can't read the signs. But that's their fucking problem. You tell them that.
Yep.
You go to that country and you do that. And
You
in
go ahead and
fact,
get disappeared.
you go to that country illegally without papers, without anything, and see if they let you in with open fucking arms, you stupid motherfuckers, man. I swear to God, it's like everything that we were taught. While yes, most of it was complete bullshit, but all of the things that we learn growing up, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, let's just change how everybody learns now, right? We're not going to
Yeah.
teach history anymore. We're going to teach that these
Critical
people are
race
bad.
theory.
Yeah, we're going to teach that these people are bad and these people are good. And if you don't get like everything the government tells you to inject into your body, because let's face it, the doctors are going to be the new police. You'll see. It'll happen. It'll be like the police will now wear blue and
it's V
white.
for Vendetta.
They'll have fucking right. Yep, there you go. And
Yep.
and
When
repo.
a dangerous virus got
They're gonna
released.
just yep. You didn't pay enough in taxes. We're coming to get a kidney.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
fuck, dude. Right? It's not enough that you got to work your balls off until you're fucking 65, right? But these assholes get to keep that job as long as they keep.
Or if you're the Democrats in fucking Texas, you get to completely drop your responsibilities that the taxpayers are paying you for, and you get to fucking flee to DC like a bunch of fucking assholes.
How much does it cost to charter a fucking jet?
Oh,
not to mention
they didn't have to.
Yeah, maybe
they didn't have to because they got a fucking private jet.
Yeah, they got a private jet, but all right, so that comes out of the coffers or whatever, right? So then what about all the time? Are they actually going to work while they're in Washington,
Nope.
D.C.? Or are they
because their only job right now is to be in the fucking House of Representatives in Texas to sign a fucking bill or to not sign a bill.
Right, that's the job that they were elected to do, right? Because let's face it, they're all elected officials.
Yes.
So let's get rid of all of the things that make this country great, right? Let's get rid of people arguing until they come to an agreement, right? Isn't that what America has been? Like, isn't that basically like what happened at the beginning of the country? They were fucking pissed off. They were like, no, I don't want to pay this dude for fucking tea. I don't want his fucking tea. I don't want it, right? I don't want it for 3 cents more. I don't want it for fucking 3 cents less, right? I don't want it. I don't want it for any price. So you're taxing me on something that I could just fucking grow here, motherfucker. I don't need you to bring it to me. Get the fuck out of here, right?
Well, that's probably why we drink coffee now.
Right, and we drink coffee, right? And where does that come from? Right?
Fucking
where does that come from? But that's racist.
Mexico.
Don't tell people where it comes from because it's racist.
My bad. It comes from the great plains of Cafefe.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, come on, man. In a world where we grew up with fucking, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, maybe not you because you're really young, right? But I grew up with Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka, right?
Yep.
The fucking Oompa Loompas were orange. I don't know why everybody thought
Yep.
Donald Trump was so bad because he was orange. You fucking grew up with this dude's. Like, you grew up with that. Like, come on.
Yep. Not to mention, everyone loved Trump until he decided to run for office
Yeah.
as a Republican.
How many years when that show, that Celebrity Apprentice or Apprentice was on, right? Everybody would say it whenever the season was going. You fired. You fired. You fired. Everybody was doing that shit, right? Because he was the best.
And ironically, the thing that Donald Trump was terrible at during his presidency, fucking firing awful people.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great
it's
on
just
TV.
Ridiculous.
He was bad in that role. Holy shit.
And Matt's
I will
gone
say
again.
This though, if it comes
he's back.
Oh, I came back. Oh, okay. So I disappeared. You disappeared for a while too.
He's gone again. No. Is he back?
Shit. Am I back?
Oh.
Yeah, the video keeps getting choppy.
You're back.
On
I think
us,
you're back.
Oh, it's probably because we're almost at an hour. I can't even believe we went this long.
Still... Yeah. Well, I think we'll probably end it there. I'll give my final statements real quick. Fuck the government. In all seriousness, state and local government is far more important than the federal government. There's a thing called the 10th Amendment. Any powers not delegated to the federal government shall be left to the states. So if the federal government says, hey, we're going to make this law where you have to put a dildo up your asshole at 7 p.m. on the daily, twice on Sundays, the state and local government can say, federal government, with all due respect, go fuck your own face. And there's nothing the federal government can do about it. So that's where I would like to leave you, ladies and gentlemen. But also one more thing. Fuck the federal government. That's my closing statement.
Also, to YouTube, the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI, we're always looking for extra work. So
we're looking for jobs.
Yeah,
yep.
We're always looking for jobs.
I know you guys are currently trying. Yep. But I know you guys are currently trying to have a communist revolution in America. But because this one's going to fail, we'd like to bring back 1776 again to this country with absolute liberties and absolute freedoms.
We would like to help.
We would like to help them.
We don't want
to make America.
We would like to help them. Yeah.
Yes.
Because we need to come out of the othering of people, right? Because now we're living in a world where everybody's othering each other. Like, oh, right? Like, fuck you.
You're a Republican.
You don't listen to my music, or you're a Republican, or you're a Democrat. Like, who the fuck cares? They're both stupid. Anyway.
There are two people that you are legally allowed to other in this great country. There are two types of people. Communists, which is half of the Democratic Party, and most of the teachers in higher education, and pedophiles. Pedophiles. Those are the only two. Communists, pedophiles. They get no quarter. And everyone else, you're a goddamn American, and it's about time you start goddamn acting like it.
Yeah, for real. If you
what
don't,
the fuck,
if you
America?
Don't like the flag, we understand. What the fuck, America? We get it. You might not like the flag, you might not like the colors, but it's not racist. Everybody's got one.
It's definitely not racist. Yep.
What the fuck, America?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been great. YouTube, special words to YouTube since this will be our first YouTube video. Um, Stop
Thanks.
censoring conversations. I honestly believe even Nazis have the right to speak. So we can laugh at their ideas and call them fucking morons and make them commit Sudoku because their ideas are so terrible.
They should be spreading love and happiness and stuff, but you can't do that unless people are having real conversations, and that's not what people are doing.
Exactly.
People are having one conversation.
They're having the doctrinally allowed conversation. You can't talk about ivermectin. You can't talk about
oh my god,
Eric Chiaramella. And these are just tests for YouTube. I don't know if they'll actually because Tim Pool always talks about being banned for saying a name. Granted, we have no followers, no one's listened to us. But I just want to the three things you're not allowed to say on YouTube. Ivermectin is potentially a fix for coronavirus that should most certainly be looked into by the medical field and be rigorously tried and tested. And then, as a community of science people, they should tell people if ivermectin is okay. That is a conversation we should be allowed to have.
You shouldn't.
Eric Chiaramella.
That's it. We're about to
I don't remember
reported.
exactly what he was. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what Eric Chiaramella was, but he is a guy you can't say his name, and I don't know why. And I'm going to look. Am I looking dead in the camera for this one? I want them to see the soles of my eyes. YouTube.
I can. Oh boy. Yep.
Right. Are you looking at my soul?
Look right into the lens.
Right. You're looking at my soul. All right. Donald J. Trump did win the 2020 election. Mic drop.
You're about to get arrested.
Let's see if that gets us immediately kicked off of YouTube.
We're gonna get banned, silenced. We're probably gonna get fucking Epsteined, and then John McAfee, and then
and then the Haiti's president.
Somebody's gonna report us to Joe Biden and say those two guys are so horrible. We should be so lucky. We should be so lucky.
I would love it, dude. I would love it. And then we're gonna end.
You can't take back.
Joe Biden should be tried for treason. But I would love to.
Did you just love when you said that?
No, I just straight up said Joe Biden should be tried for treason.
Oh, because I thought.
Why? What do you think I said?
Bleeped. I don't know.
Oh no.
I mean, I've heard you say some things, so I mean, I don't know. I'm just sitting here and I go, "Oh man, it just cut out." I hope he didn't get us murdered.
Nope, I'll say it 3 times now. This will be the 3rd time. Joe Biden should be tried for treason.
I agree. I think a lot of the people out there should.
Like, if you look into everything he's done, getting business deals for his son, selling out what could potentially be to China, getting his brother deals in the Middle East to rebuild roads. You have, there's the actual quid pro quo in Ukraine, getting the prosecutor fired who was about to start looking into his son's business partners. Not to mention all of his time in the Senate, which I didn't pay attention to politics back then, but I'm pretty sure he was an asshole back then too. But I would love for somehow I get arrested and the whole of the United States Congress was my accuser, so I could have a right to face my accuser. And for the next 15 months while I sat in prison awaiting my trial, I would do nothing but craft a very eloquently spoken message to all of Congress. Not with death threats, though. I've done too many of those already to Congress. I truly would like to say to Congress, do better and be better. That would ultimately be the message from my trial, and I would get executed afterwards, and the whole country would hopefully go to war for me and see me as the new Thomas Jefferson or something. I don't know. But these are just pipe dreams I have. You know,
you'd be like
be the
Jesus
martyr.
Christ.
I would love to be the martyr.
There's another one. You can't. We just used God, so now we're white, straight, middle-ish
Christian males,
Christian-ish males. That and let's not disparage anybody's religion. You can believe in whatever you want. This is America.
Yeah,
you can love whoever you want. You can be with whoever you want. You can do and say whatever you want within the legal limit of doing whatever you want, right? I mean, let's face it.
What I will say, though, you brought this up, and now I got to say it.
I had to because I have to say you were going to skip it, and it is our first video.
Oh, am I going to? I was just going to say, fuck the gay community. Fuck the black community. Fuck communities, and and the reason I say those two in specifics is Douglas Murray is a gay British man who the gay community hates. Milo Yiannopoulos is a very fabulous gay man who the gay community hates. The black community, let's take a look at them. This black community you have hates black Republicans with a burning passion. If you're a community, if you're the black community, and black is the only defining term you need to be in that community, you should love all the blacks, but you don't. You don't. You don't. So fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Hello, YouTube. This is our first video. I hope you enjoy it. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, boy.
Peace out, everybody.
Late.